Drugs have done good things for us. If you don't believe they have, do me a favor, take all your albums, tapes, CDs, and burn them. Because you know what? The musicians who made that great music that has enhanced your lives throughout the years are real fucking high. Okay.
Toi que je veux connaître.
Hi, welcome to Midnight Movie Madness. I'm Crystal.
I'm Kenda.
I'm Brady.
I'm Mons.
And we have a new guest.
Jessica.
Jazzy Jess.
Yes.
Yay! So, not everybody's seen the movie all the way through.
Yeah, we're actually all together this time. Like we had
It's a very special episode because we are together in the same room, focused around one solitary microphone.
Yes. We all live in different parts of California and usually Skype call each other, but it was my birthday, so we all came down and had a slumber party, and now here we are.
Hooray!
And so Jessica is one of our best friends, so she's sitting in. Even
Yes.
though she didn't watch the movie.
I did not watch the movie, but I heard them talking about it in the living room, and I was like, "What are you guys? I need to.
I gotta
what?
get
Too
I need to get in on
impatient to
this.
wait for the podcast to be finished. So
I need to see it live,
Okay.
live and real, raw.
But Jessica is on the Gamer Girls, if you watch those videos.
Uh-huh.
Yes, she is one of them.
Experience it. All right,
Yeah.
so this week we watched The Strange Color of Your Body's Tears. This movie came out in 2013, and the plot summary is such. Following the disappearance of his wife, a man finds himself on a dark and twisted trail of discovery through the labyrinthine halls of his apartment building. Led on a wild goose chase by cryptic messages from his mysterious neighbors, he becomes entangled in a hellish nightmare as he unlocks their strange fantasies of sensuality and bloodshed. The Strange Color of Your Body's Tears is a visually dazzling experience from the creators of Amer and takes you on a journey into mystery and blood-soaked terror that you will never forget.
I just like to say, I love the title of this movie.
Yes.
Soundtrack's even better.
Is it?
Yes, it's
Okay.
something like
The poster is gorgeous.
Look
This
this
is
up
the
really
reason why
quick.
I wanted
Are these
to see
the?
it.
I'm sorry. Are these the best parts of the movie? Like the title, the poster, the
Probably.
soundtrack.
No.
The movie is
Okay.
very pretty.
Yeah.
Okay.
The movie brings
It's
it
visually stunning. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. I love those kinds of movies.
So, we're going to switch it up a little bit. Each of us is going to go around and kind of give our initial opinion, and then we'll see if we can either agree or change each other's minds by the end. So, the movie is a giallo film, which is kind of like a erotic thriller genre in the vein of Dario Argento or Italy. And this
movie's French.
This movie's French, but it's very much in that style.
Yeah.
Of like a Lynchian Argento experience where it's all visuals, lots of dreamy stuff happening. For me, I really enjoyed it as a visual art piece. If I had to rate it right now, I think I'd probably rate it a solid 5 because it is extremely mysterious, and I'm not sure if I'm convinced that it works as a narrative, but as a piece of visual storytelling, it is like one of the most visually rich films I've ever seen. Its colors are just popping out everywhere. Every shot is a work of art.
I want to live in that apartment building.
Yes, it's
I don't.
gorgeous. Well,
No, I'll be that homeless guy that just lives in the walls.
There's a lot of interesting switching around of camera use. There's a lot of digital video photography that is mixed in with some kind of maybe an 18 millimeter, 35 millimeter. Like you can tell when it changes because that's when either the mood or time or place changes, so you know how to differentiate each scene. Maybe it's black and white, maybe it's everything is black and white except one red tone. And yeah, it's just super moody, and cinematography is great, and the lighting really makes sure that you know what you're supposed to be paying attention to. Like, everything will be in complete 100% black, except the thing that is popping out, and that is just it. That's one of my favorite things. So that's how I felt about it. Kendra?
So I have to ask you: is our rating scale like 5 being the highest, or are we going
No,
to 10?
it's
10.
Oh, we're going to 10.
5 is
Okay.
like true neutral.
You know,
I think this is my true neutral.
your pH is balanced. I think I might go higher than that, even though I didn't finish the movie and I didn't fully understand it, but I'm not sure you're supposed to.
Nobody here did.
I would go for a 6 or maybe even a 7, just because it's so completely out of the box from anything I've ever seen, and I enjoyed that, and I enjoyed the confusion and the weirdness. The cinematography obviously was very beautiful. That there's one poignant scene, this woman who has rings, and every time she has jewelry, depending on the type of jewelry she has, her eyes change color.
I heard that, you know those old Zales commercials with the classical music? When she was doing that, that's what I was hearing.
Every kiss begins with kiss.
Yeah.
Just, like, stab someone, like, what?
Okay, we need to explore those themes. But yeah, go on,
sorry.
go on.
Didn't mean to jump into that early.
No worries.
But yeah, it was so beautiful, and I love that it played with the idea of like consciousness and whether or not you're conscious, and like the narrator was unreliable with the main character. You're like, okay, is he on drugs? Is he tripping out? He's drunk all the time. I don't know what's going on. So you're just having to believe his point of view from the story, and you don't really know what's going on. And there's times where he wakes up and you're like, oh, okay, cool, he's awake, and then something happens, and then he's waking up again, and you're like, wait a minute. And that happens a lot, and it's really cool. So I enjoyed that, as well as the visual elements, and then just the way they strung the plot, in quotation marks, together. I liked it. So, a 7.
Yeah, speaking of that, there was the point where he like found a head in his bed.
Yeah.
And because they kept doing the wake up scene at the end of all of that, I'm like, no wait, was the head actually there?
Right.
Or was that part of his
I have
dream?
so many questions. But, okay, Brady?
Okay, so I'm totally going to agree with Crystal here that it's going to be a true neutral, set it at a 5. This movie is so visually stimulating, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how we ended up going from +1 to this, where the visuals were
Monica's
completely
choice
bland
and
and
then my
boring. And then something that is just so entrancing from the very start. I think my favorite part about the movie in general is probably the soundtrack, which, for the record, one of the best things about the movie is the soundtrack is a strange soundtrack for your body's ears.
Love it.
Fantastic. Musical choices all around were just about perfection, and it worked really well with the visual style and the various effects that they were doing. It really helped with the insanity of the entire film. I don't think there is much of an actual narrative. It's just insanity, craziness. I watched the movie twice, but the second time wasn't to try to follow along. I just wanted to see how pretty it was again and listen to the music.
Yeah.
And that's all that mattered. There's a lot to say about this movie. We'll get into that in a minute, but I'm giving it just the neutral 5 because it's visually stimulating. The story is challenging if it actually exists.
It's part of the challenge.
Yeah.
I think I figured out the story, but I don't know.
Well, we can try to explain it later.
Yeah, I would like
to
to
that in
hear.
a minute.
Yeah.
But all in all, it's just kind of
I do a comment after.
a bizarre movie. Yeah, so
That's yours?
5.
Okay. Monica?
All right. I am incredibly torn on this film.
Tell us about it.
It is beautiful. It really is. The building is beautiful. The way they actually change the filming style for each story is beautiful. But the actual movie was torture for me to watch. I freaking hated this movie because of the story.
Yeah.
And when I was watching it the second time, because I always watch it in the living room with all my roommates and Dustin and Paul and all them.
Oh,
We'll just
I'm
kind of
so sorry.
they'll turn around and watch movies with me.
This
And
is
so
not
I
for
watched
group
it the first time,
experience.
and they were just like, this is the worst movie ever. And I'm like, okay. So I was sitting down to watch it again a second time to see if I could figure out the story. And Dustin was like, you are not allowed to watch that on the TV again. You put it on your computer and you put your headphones on. I am not watching this again. So I was just like, okay.
You're like, oh, alright.
But I agree, if it were for the art in the movie and all that, I would probably give this movie an 8. But the story, I want to rate a 1. So in actuality, this is probably pretty close to a true neutral for me too. Because
both ends of the spectrum.
yeah, it really is both ends because like it's probably one of the prettiest movies I've seen in a long time, short of like The Fall or The Cell or something.
The Cell.
But
everything.
as for story, oh my god, I hated it so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I love the really weird movies. Like Naked Lunch is one of my favorite movies, and that is mind trippy. Insect infestation, yeah. I love Cronenberg, and all his movies are like that. But no,
This one didn't do it for you.
I'll do it for you.
So neutral.
Are you guys sure
Neutral.
you didn't like mass hallucinate this movie?
I haven't.
Because it
I don't
sounds
even
like
know.
everyone's
No.
confused.
We'll get to that. In
I don't
just a
even.
moment.
I don't even know if I'm really neutral because I seriously have a love-hate relationship
So,
with this movie.
At this point in time,
passionate.
you're right around neutral-ish, somewhere between a 4 and a 6, depending.
somewhere around there.
That's fair.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
So
1 for the story, 9 for the art.
yeah.
First and foremost, Kenda, you need to finish this
I
movie.
know.
Yeah.
I think the reason why you're rating it a little bit higher than the
Because
rest
I didn't
of us
finish it.
is
You didn't go to
because-
the end and go, what?
Oh, that's
because
Pretty much.
like I'm totally with you at the beginning of it because it's so challenging and just so like what's
Yeah.
going on? Did this guy kill these people? Is he just insane? What is going on? And then when the end happens, which we'll get to the spoilers in a minute, everything just kind of
like stops.
falls.
Ah.
Everything that you thought was happening.
So everything
is
that's
not
up in the air
happening.
just goes poof.
I'm gonna watch this movie with you.
So you
I'm
really
sorry.
need to finish it.
You're already apologizing.
I'm
Kinda,
ar-
I've made you watch a lot of shitty movies.
No, just because this is gonna be a
This
whole
one takes the
different
cake.
experience.
This will be an experience
Like
for
we're
you.
gonna have to drink a bottle of NyQuil before we watch this.
Oh,
movie.
well, yeah, it's fine. We can
It's
do
gonna
that.
be great.
You
Get
won't
some
need
purple
to,
stuff.
really. Like, it's gonna feel like being on drugs.
Yeah.
Oh.
Real
The
fucking
whole
high on
movie.
drugs.
So I felt like part of the movie I felt like I was watching a Brothers Clay film because of all the stop motion, which was
Yeah.
interesting.
Oh yeah.
I have a few notes. Maybe I'll bring them up and then we can discuss. First of all, one of my first notes is this is super French already. So
Is that the very
What
beginning?
was it you
I was-
called? What was
I
it
was
you
down-
called the main actor?
his name is Jean-Claude Defoe.
Jean-Claude Defoe.
Because
Wow.
he has all those features.
Yeah,
He
he,
really
looks
does.
like Jean-Claude Van Damme had a baby with Willem Dafoe.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he
And
does.
I love Baby.
That is a
We should-
fantastic name.
Jean-Claude
Jean-Claude
Defoe.
Defoe. I love it.
He sounds like he should be a ruler.
That,
in
that,
16th
that
century
might be
France.
my screen name now.
Yes.
I might
That's
have
him.
to use that.
That's
really.
whoever that guy is.
We can no longer refer to you as Brady or John Claude.
I was going to switch my name to Phil because at one point in time Monica named me Phil.
Ah.
I'm not sure if you remember that.
No.
When we had our band, Bag of Sheep, and she made names for everyone.
Yeah.
And I,
don't
would.
remember.
I don't remember what the names were.
You were something about the Kyo Panda-chan, which is why that's what you are in my phone. Christian was something about being the Rat King,
Yeah.
and then I was Phil.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys all had elaborate names. And
He's Phil.
Almost like murder face.
So now it might have to be Jean-Claude.
Jean-Claude
Great.
Defoe. I love
That's great.
Sorry, tangent.
So I mean, okay, we're gonna get the narrative started here. It basically begins with this. Our main character, Jean-Claude Defoe.
Oh, can I tell what I think the story is?
Sure,
Okay.
but just a sec.
Okay.
Well, so
Okay.
we're just gonna set up the basics. Okay. Basics. Man comes home from business trip, and his door is locked. He's in a big one of those big converted apartment buildings in France. He finds that his door lock is locked on the inside, and he's
He
asking
has
his
one of the chains.
yeah the chain lock, and he's like asking his wife, "Hey, can you let me in?"
Edwige, open the door.
Edwige, which is the weirdest name.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she's like a
Edwige.
beautiful black woman, and I was like, whoa, I did not expect that.
Edwige sounds like an owl in Harry Potter.
Yes.
But so he just breaks the door open and realizes she's gone. He has no idea where she
But
is.
like all her stuff is there.
Her stuff is there.
Nothing's missing. Nothing
Yeah.
looks out of place.
The door was locked from the inside.
It's not like she packed and left.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Weird.
No.
And the door's locked from
There's-
the inside.
yeah, like-
the chain in the
And
inside.
her suitcases are there. Her clothes is all like he's running his hands along
Nothing
her
looks
clothes.
amiss. It looks like she's in the bathroom, but she's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's really confused. So he calls the cops. Well, first he gets drunk and tries to ask his neighbors about where she might be.
He
Which
like
is a
rings
great
their
idea.
doorbell 100 times.
Yeah. Goes up to
and-
the roof. I don't know.
and all of his neighbors are very strange. But
It's France.
It's France. So he calls the cop. The cop is like, and usually cases like this solve themselves. That same old thing. And so he's really.
Cops were very unhelpful.
Well,
Very
but the thing is
unhelpful.
like, the cop was very interested in this building though, but he was trying not to play it off
Right.
that he was.
Well, I have questions
We'll
about
get
the
back
cop
to
later.
that. Let's
Okay.
kind of get the overview, and then we'll get back because
So-
we skipped a few things as it is.
Yeah, he gets a clue. He goes to one of his neighbors' apartments. An elderly woman who lives upstairs.
She's
who
a
is
widow,
completely
right?
covered in black, and she tells her story, which is super weird about her husband finding a hole in the ceiling and
No,
like
he
drilled
he
the
drilled
hole.
Because
the hole in the
they
ceiling.
have paintings of women all over
And
the
they're
walls.
so beautiful,
And
like
he used to-
Rococo French.
They would hear
Yes.
they would hear moans and like cries, and to them it was like the women on the wall moaning and crying.
Yeah.
And it because the husband was newly retired, he wasn't used to being there all day, and it was driving him crazy. So then he drilled a hole in the ceiling to see like what the hell
he
was
like
going on.
tied up his wife
Okay.
and then like
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe-
Sorry.
We'll get back. We'll get to
I
that
was like,
discussion.
I know this is insane.
We're painting the portrait, and then we'll
Painting
get to
the
the
portrait
details.
of the standards because everything in between is madness.
Yes.
So the man finds out how to get into this hole between the ceiling and wherever
The attic
in the
or something.
walls, and there's a killer in there. So what we think is that there's a killer in the building that can hide in between the walls and get people.
It's like the
We
basilisk
barely
in
even
Harry
know
Potter,
that
like-
at this point.
Yeah, we
this
don't-
is just
no,
we
this is
don't
just
know
one
that this
This is
story.
tentatively.
We actually only know that the husband found something, and then blood drips through the hole he drilled.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
it.
I mean,
And the
the-
wife's like, I don't know where he is. And then
The drilling itself
Never
led
saw
to
him
blood
again.
too, which is awkward. But we'll get to that in a minute.
And then Jean-Claude Defoe meets his neighbor on the roof who's naked for some reason. She looks like Sarah Silverman.
And she's just sitting there smoking, like.
And she's
"What's
like,
up?"
what's up? And he's like,
She's French, of course. She's
why are you up here?
And smoking.
She's
Yeah.
like, "Why are you up here?"
And then it's all fine. So he,
And then he dreams about like falling, and then wakes
Well,
up.
he
It's
trips and then
cool.
wakes up in bed.
Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, he has a trip out moment. But
Pretty much
he
the whole
eventually
movie.
goes to her apartment, which is 7, right? Her apartment.
She
Yes.
calls him.
No.
She calls him up and says, like, come on up, I know your wife, or something.
Yeah.
No,
And then-
I thought he found the reel with the paper around it, and he flipped over the paper, and it had the number 7. He was like, "Huh,"
Yeah.
and he starts knocking on
That's
the door
why he
number
went
7.
to door number
Yeah.
7.
And she
Okay,
opened
right.
it,
There's a
and she was
painting.
there.
There's audio. There's at one point in time audio from his wife.
It crosses
Anyway,
all mediums.
He goes and he sees Sarah Silverman, and then she seduces him with some blue roofie, and they have sex, and there's glass in between them, which is cool.
No.
Number 18
And
on
he
my
has
new
like
fetish
an
list.
insane trip on whatever blue she
Yeah,
gave him.
because it kept
Insane.
going.
Like my
trip.
immediate thought was like, oh, she's like one of the mages from Game of Thrones. Blue lips.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Do you remember those guys?
No.
Yeah, the
Power
warlocks.
Rangers?
The
The
warlocks.
warlocks
They
that would like drink the blue potion. And,
Oh, those
yeah.
guys, yeah.
And they had the house
Alright.
made of
Crystal's
dust.
face
That's
is
a
like,
long ass
what?
The potion is usually mana.
You all need to
so-
catch up. Those guys are old news.
Get on my level.
Alright, so there's also other neighbors, like a dude that films, is a voyeur who films people. I'm not sure if he's filming only for one man.
He was filming for the landlord.
I thought he was filming
Something.
for the husband of that woman.
No, it was the landlord. Because they never showed his face until the end, and you realize it's the landlord.
Okay, so he's a mad creep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's because yeah, like all the windows and mirrors in the apartment
Were
complex
like
are two-way.
Yeah.
So he was like recording people sleep and have sex and
yeah,
all that
and
stuff.
like he liked it.
being like a major
But then
creep.
felt really
But then
guilty.
the guy that was doing it for him fell in love or became obsessed
With
with
this woman.
the Sarah Silverman girl.
Yeah.
Button
And he
pussy
said
leads
I didn't want to
orgasms.
do it anymore. Yeah. That was a really weird like
That was the best
Like-
euphemism for
yeah.
masturbation.
yeah,
ever.
yeah.
Like click, click,
Fantastic.
click, click, click,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he became
Insane.
obsessed with one character, so he's like, I don't want to do this anymore. And then he tried to follow her.
Right.
Now,
The woman in red really confuses me.
Yeah.
Shush.
Because there was more than one.
Shush!
there's a, the other thing that happens is, Jean-Claude Defoe wakes up and his wife's head's in his bed.
Mm-hmm.
But
He
I
wakes up like
cannot
15 times.
Yeah. So
tell if it's
And he keeps
True.
finding himself.
But
And
then he
killing
talked to
himself.
the inspector about the head in his bed, so I was like, maybe it did
But
happen.
then the inspector acknowledges, oh, he found his wife's head in his bed, but nobody comes
Yeah, like,
from
yeah.
anywhere.
Like, it's not
Is this
yeah.
how French people work? Is this how
Yeah, they're
French
just like,
works?
oh, he found a head
Maybe
in his bed.
he's not really a
Maybe, like,
detective.
No.
Throw it out in the garbage?
Yeah.
He
Take care
is
of it.
probably a detective, but we'll get to that after we get done with the full synopsis because it kind of links to everything. So
Yeah, so there's a woman with dark hair. Right.
there's like
Not
6
Sarah
women.
Silverman?
Not Sarah Silverman, somebody else
Yeah.
who
Is this
gets
the hat one?
killed. The hat one.
Yes, the hat
The woman
one.
who gets
Oh.
killed by the killer, who
Uh-huh.
or whatever this is.
Has
um,
crazy masturbation
through the
powers.
walls,
Yeah.
if that's even what's going on.
Number
And
27 on the fetish
she
list.
gets murdered. And God, what happens afterwards? He finally figures out that there's a Laura character.
Right. This is where it starts
And-
trying to tie everything together, and I think this might be a good place to kind of
Trying
stop
really
the
hard.
synopsis because
Spoilers?
not just the spoilers,
Oh, this whole thing's spoiler.
but this
I
is
mean,
where
yeah.
it just
It's
falls
not really
together.
spoiling if it's all
Okay.
intro.
The,
like,
the spoiler alert for this movie is going to be we have no idea what's going on in this movie.
yeah.
It is essentially there's a lot of stuff happening,
I mean,
but we don't know. Even
How
at
it
this
ties
point, we don't know
together.
how it all ties together. We were talking about how the detective may not be a detective. The reason why he's there is because he's connected to the stories.
Yeah, he
Like,
is.
he is connected to
The
this
lady with
Laura
the
or
rings.
whatever, the rings in the neck, which those rings are very just not very
Did they make a
functional.
point to like
Right?
connect him in the movie
Yeah.
to show it?
he's
Yeah.
actually after Sarah Silverman's character.
Yeah, because
Oh.
he had a situation with this too, and he's trying to figure out what's going on, and that's why
Yeah.
he's there. That's why he's following our
okay.
Jean-Claude
Because she's like a Black Widow kind of character.
Yeah, everyone involved in this, like, we get the introduction, and he's freaking out over his wife. He finds the old lady. The old lady tells her story.
Yeah.
He goes on, he meets the
detective who
He
tells
tells
his
his
story.
story. We see the guy
And-
masturbating with the pause button.
All these stories
And-
are leading up to the fact that there is someone in the walls.
There's something going on within this building that is
Yeah.
leading, like, everyone's connected to being murdered, masturbating,
And then they introduce
vaginas,
Yeah.
So
Boobies.
many
Lots of
vaginas.
boobies.
Well, but
all
then
the boobs.
they misdirect you by having this homeless guy that lives in the walls that tries to contact the husband a few times.
So he's not actually
But
technically
somebody-
homeless.
No, he does. But somebody always intervenes. Like the detective knocks on the door, or the
Yeah.
landlord's trying
Yeah.
to talk to him. So this guy in the wall never actually gets to like come up and say like, "Hey, bro, I know what's going on." But the husband thinks it's him.
Oh.
So it ends up that the guy in the walls is actually trying to warn him
So
because
that
it's
was the
this
bearded
guy
man that he's like,
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
bearded man in my
that. Yeah,
apartment.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's also the pause button.
he-
Yeah, he's the
actually-
one that
yeah.
was fingering
Yeah.
the button.
button.
He now lives in the building, and what he does is when people go on vacation, he just lives in their house for
That's
like
pretty
however
cool.
long they're gonna go on vacation.
It's actually very common all over the world.
Mhm.
Squatters just
But
Yeah.
squatters in the
vacation for a month.
walls?
Yeah.
That's-
But
terrifying.
yeah, so he does
Yeah.
that, but he knows because he sees everything.
Right.
He knows what's going on, and he keeps trying to tell the husband, but keeps getting
He
intervened.
thinks he knows what's going on.
Yeah,
He's trying
well-
to say some crazy stuff is happening to
Yeah.
you. You should try to either run away or help me figure out what's happening.
Yeah.
And then just this
Right as he
stuff.
finally does get to talk to him,
What
Dead.
happens?
he gets killed.
Murdered.
Ah.
Dead.
Can I ask a question?
7.
Yes.
What color suit does the detective wear? Is it a
It's
light
like,
color
gray.
suit?
Like a gray.
it's
It's very
Oh, right.
nondescript.
Oh.
It-
I would say all the men are wearing grays and all the women are
Right.
wearing
Like
blacks,
bright.
reds.
To be honest,
Okay,
like
okay.
color wise, the movie bounces around so much you tend to
Yeah.
not really pay attention to if a scene is in color or black and
Yeah.
white
Right.
because it really
Oh.
depends on the movie.
Well, the
each scene,
movie-
each story is
Yeah.
different in its own right.
The
It's like-
movie really
Okay.
focuses on women because women are the target, so everything but women is dull and muted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's fair.
Okay.
But the women will be wearing bright red
Except-
dresses or
Jean-Claude or Dan or whatever, his eyes are very blue,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
always very prominent, and I don't
Yeah.
know why.
Usually with him, there's a lot of color happening,
Yeah.
especially while he's getting drunk. My favorite scene, because it kind of starts off with the record spinning, and it's got the spiral thing,
I
and
like
that
that.
song
His
is
little cleaning up montage.
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
god, I hated
Cleaning
that
up.
cleaning montage.
Cleaning up.
See,
I'm like,
That
I
was-
don't
no,
need
that
to
one's
watch
really
this
good.
guy clean
The
for
one
5
that I'm
minutes.
talking
You
about
can
is
just
while he's getting
have him
drunk.
sit down. that was hard, and then the place is clean.
It was-
While he's
I don't
getting
need to
drunk,
watch it.
that song is really good because there's no sound other than the music.
Yeah.
And then when he presses the button to talk to someone, like ringing the bell, it stops and he says something, and then he cuts back to the music, and that song is phenomenal.
Yeah.
The best.
There's so much split screen in this movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
I love the conversation between
I
the
do
detective
too,
where it was like the
yeah.
screen
And then he's
like
like
appearing and then
Visually
and then we go back,
stimulating.
yeah.
I
While
like
he's
that
cleaning,
too.
Yeah.
While he's
And
cleaning,
then the
there's
top
an
half of the
overhead-
detective's face
Yeah,
and his
with-
mouth
on the
side,
all lined up.
yeah.
I was like, that's so cool.
It's so
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Visually
It's
stimulating
very
all
pretty.
around.
So, if we want to push to what we think the ending is, or and we'll just say the basics. Okay, so Jean-Claude Defoe finally figures out that it's someone named Laura's secret that is the deal about all these mysteries.
Yeah.
If you find Laura's secret, you
Right.
find the mysteries. So he goes upstairs to find.
Try to find that room.
Well, I think
trying
this
to
is
find the
where
room.
the bearded guy gets killed, like in this location,
Mm-hmm.
and then Jean-Claude goes back and he's like, "Oh wait, I think I figured it out." So he goes back to the place. at
Well,
the
he
end.
opens the door and it's the 7 upside down. That means an L,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So then he finally goes into the room to try to see it, and he sees that, this is the painting that is his wife's drawing in the hat box.
Right.
So she was here.
So she was here, and then he gets murdered.
Yeah.
That's it?
And he
No.
he has a,
No.
What?
No.
Not necessarily he gets murdered. He might be murdered. It doesn't really discuss.
So it's kind of like
Because
a
he
Blair
goes
Witch
through his
thing.
head.
Like
he
you
walks into the room, and everything's white, and there's porn. Like he's got.
well,
he's
we
a
gotta
kid.
get into that. There's a lot of, like, overarching themes of sexual maturation.
like
repression,
repression
discovery, also,
Vaginas.
like...
yeah, like
Vaginas everywhere in every screen, just packed
Yep.
in the walls.
So many
I
vaginas.
imagine like
just
walking
laying.
along the hallway or
Just
up the
vagina
stairs, and it's
wallpaper.
just like George O'Keeffe
Just like
everywhere.
squish, squish.
Well, there's also a lot of sound design for it too. There's lots of squishy noises when they like touch a hole in the walls
Yeah.
and
when he like reaches up into the hole and it's like, and
Yeah,
I was like, ew.
and then there's like every stab wound kind of looks
Yeah.
like
Like
a
a
little bit like a vagina.
Vagina.
There's a vagina, and there's like
The vagine.
there's like just tons of that kind of imagery everywhere, which is just all about I think it's about Jean-Claude Defoe's experience, either A, as a young boy with an older woman, or B, as a young boy looking at porn for the first time. Because every man in this movie is a little boy or a perv, and every woman in this movie is very sexualized and naked.
Yes.
Every single one.
Pretty sure every single woman masturbates at least once.
Also,
And it-
everybody want to know what the strange color of your body's tears is?
The rainbow.
It's period blood.
Yeah.
Dripping.
Well, it's
Because he sees this girl,
Laura.
and if that is even Laura,
I don't
who
think
knows?
I don't think that was the Jean-Claude guy. I think that was the
No.
landlord.
No, that's
No, that was-
definitely him.
Because when he goes into the
because
room
this
originally,
isn't his room.
right? This is where they break through the wall.
This is
and
the
he's got the
landlord's
bearded dude
room.
and the
See,
landlord.
Jessica.
He
This
walks
is
in.
super confusing.
The bearded guy dies, so they run away and do whatever because there was a shot of a child. He freaked out and whatever, closed the door and left.
Because he
Shot
felt
of a
like that
child.
child
Right.
the first time he
And
saw Laura
then-
and the period
Right.
blood coming down her leg.
And
he's
he
like,
goes back and makes all the connection and goes, well, this is where we're leading. He goes back to it by himself, opens the door. All of a sudden, he's a kid looking at porn, sees this chick in a skirt, and drip.
Do you think that has anything to do with the little girl in like that church-like area that had the candy and it was red and she was like, "Take my candy," and
Well,
he's
that's
like,
another
"I don't want your candy,
super-
weird little girl."
yeah,
And then
And then
turns into acid
yeah,
and
and
explodes on his
yeah,
leg.
and it's in his leg and he reaches in and it like cuts up his hand. And
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
and it's making like crawling, ticking sounds
that's
in
a
his
whole
pocket.
other
Yeah.
vagina thing.
Yeah,
We
I
think
was
maybe.
because with that little
pretty
girl
sure.
following him, I was like, "This is creepy."
Yeah.
Like little girl wants him to have sex with her. Like I was getting that
Yeah.
feeling.
Well, that's what she's like. Take my candy.
Yeah, she was like, "Take my candy," and then that red woman had her doll. Like the red woman bribed
Oh,
her to
so
give him
many
candy, and I
dolls.
was like,
yeah.
So many dogs.
Yeah. So you think like the dolls and the children is like coming of age, like sexual
Kind of.
Maybe.
Like,
puberty.
there's a
the
lot
red.
of these themes, but it's never like it's not blatantly said.
Right.
And this is why I said you need to finish the movies because the last like 5 minutes you just everything that you would thought was going on, at least for me, was completely torn down. Like the opening scene where the guy's on the plane coming home, and it shows scenes of Edwidge or whatever, knife play and nipples and stuff,
the nipple
and a doll
knife
hand, creepy.
on her boobie.
And the tiny little schoolgirl uniform.
Right.
Yeah, and
it's
the knife
so,
between into the vagina.
Yeah,
It's
I
so
think
bizarre.
Yeah.
So during this opening scene,
It keeps showing her knees and then the knife just
Jessica's
going
face while we're explaining all this stuff is
the
priceless.
schoolgirl uniform and
My-
the vaginas.
what I was understanding, like the first time I was watching this, was dude is coming back from like a club where he got to do some knife play and murdered a woman, and I didn't understand that woman was his wife until like halfway through when it shows a picture of her, and I go, oh.
Yeah.
And then when he's going through the book that he finds with the maggots, it seems like all these women are women that he's killed. And
Seems
See,
like
I
that.
didn't take that as none of that as him, and I took it as the landlord
Okay, Monica, tell us what you think.
Yeah, tell us your
because they show the dude that's in the walls now,
The hobo
but
guy.
he has the mystery boss that you don't see in shadows.
Uh-huh.
And then later on, while Edwidge is trying to figure not Edwidge,
Edwidge.
whatever the guy is.
John
Dafoe.
When he's trying to figure everything out, we see that same shadowy figure reading a book about Laura, but that's when we get into the masturbation story, so we think this is Laura.
they're all masturbation stories.
Yeah, but the crazy with the hat, the hat
The
lady.
the hat scene is probably
And
my
so
favorite.
we think like this is her journal because that's what we're reading.
Oh.
But and it's still the mystery character, but then at the end it's not what am I trying to say? The mystery character is not the guy, because when he opens it, he sees blank pages. I thought it was the landlord because he doesn't know about the hidden walls and the panels, but the landlord does. And I took everything as the landlord was the one watching these girls, grooming them to see which one he
because
wanted
he
to
did.
take.
It was
Yeah.
blank when he saw it.
Yeah, and he was basically projecting
What
because
he knew into the book.
he wanted to believe that this girl actually wanted him. The girl with the crazy hat.
The landlord
So this
was
was his
believing that?
fantasy of her journal, saying, because at the end of her story, she's like, oh, I basically said no today, but eventually I will give in to him. So I think it's his fantasy that she's actually coming to him,
Like coming around.
when really he's just he's watching her, grooming her to be the perfect girl to murder.
Like that
and then he's
stalker
going to come and take
relationship.
her and
Yeah.
kill her.
Right, which
Where he's
I totally
fantasizing
get that
and
too.
he's-
Except the
Yeah.
last scene is a boy in a white world
Which
looking
I
at
thought
porn, and
was-
then there's a chick who's dripping period blood
But
down
maybe
her
that's
leg.
I
Maybe
didn't.
that's
Yeah, I didn't
fine.
take that as that was the main character. I took that as that's the landlord's background story.
But then
Like,
why is
Laura
it
was
John
this girl
Carpenter?
he was
I
in
think
love
it's him
with.
Anyway. I don't know.
Because
I'll be
his-
honest.
no,
I don't.
That makes
Okay,
more
so the
sense.
story that they say, like, oh yeah, he did have a relationship with his secretary, and
Yeah.
she's like a lot older than her, but her name's not Laura.
No, it's not.
What it,
Yeah,
it was
so
something
I was
else.
taking it like they were just exposing us to that idea early,
Right.
so it would pop in
So-
our head
So I had
when they
two-
tried to show it to us
I
later.
have two questions.
Okay.
Okay.
I will ask them
I
and
agree.
then explode with conversation.
Okay.
Two questions.
Ready to go.
Question one. What was the point of the older woman that was in Jean-Claude Defoe's bed that said, like, oh, do you want to be with me since your wife's away? And he's like, oh, we broke up 20 years ago. I thought that was the young boy, older woman story.
Yeah.
But, and then secondly, what was up with, was it the cop or the landlord always projecting maybe his own daughter into these women's faces?
I don't know which
Is that
characters
when
are which
Sarah
at this
Silverman
point.
Yeah.
is trying to kill the second guy, he looks up and sees his daughter, not her,
How do
on
you know
top
it's
of
his
him.
daughter?
Or some little
It's-
girl.
it's implied,
And
like-
I thought that
It
was
is
In
implied
my
it's a
mind, as
daughter
you're
figure.
describing this movie, it's just like a serial killer in an apartment complex with La Vie and Rose playing over the whole thing.
Essentially,
Dun,
yes.
dun,
except
Like, so-
the entire time.
It's super French.
So,
La
your
vie.
second question, I don't know. But the first question, that's what I was just trying to explain, is I think they were just trying to set us up to already understand the story.
Yeah.
So at the end, when they just show us the real quick imagery, we already put two and two together.
But there's
Like,
nothing-
this was a child babysitter relationship, and he was in love
Oh.
with her, and so maybe something happened. Maybe he
Right.
was just obsessing about her, and one day he saw her bleeding and became obsessed with blood. And then
It
that's his
could be.
fuel of his obsession.
Yeah.
his
Like,
murderous
sexualization.
rampage.
Like he was already hyper
Yeah.
focused
The-
on her before the situation with
And
the
then she
Furies thing
started
happened.
bleeding, and
Right.
he's just
And
like,
he was just like,
all my dreams.
Yeah.
I think as a French film, they already have some sort of weird love with the psyche and
Yeah.
serial killers, murders,
A lot
and
of erotic imagery.
there is a
Yeah.
lot of talk between like the serial killers that target certain types of women. They have their initial first love, whether it be the first woman that they kill or the woman that they love
like,
so much
or
that they can't
abuses
kill.
them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they have to kill everyone that's like her until they can build up the courage to actually. I've been watching a lot of Hannibal.
No,
no, I totally get where you're coming
No,
from.
I
Because I'm a fan
understand.
of serial killer stuff.
Yeah,
Like serial
and that's-
killers.
Right. So I
You
think
work
hyper-focused
yourself up to
relationships.
the goal.
right.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
understanding that aspect before going into the movie kind of makes more sense when we get into like what you were describing.
Yeah.
The weirdest thing though is it gets very bizarre and supernatural because our Jean-Claude Defoe kills himself with a straight razor 5 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's deep throating of a
There's a
razor,
weird-
which is
there's
like
a
reverse
weird-
deep throating.
weird
and it's
dream
hot,
sequence
and
out a
then
razor.
But I
He's seeing
attributed that
from
up
behind
to
his
still
eyes.
being on whatever the blue lip
Yeah.
stuff was.
it's
Yeah,
a
it could
big
be
I
mess.
remember
Tripping.
too. He's looking through his wife's box, and there's a quick cut scene of
Sorry.
like sorry
No.
vaginas. There's a quick cut scene of one of her dolls, and it's like slowly spitting out a razor blade. And it's like,
Yeah.
and I was like so disturbed by that. So when
really
he
weird.
started spitting up a razor blade
Yeah.
again, I was like, what's happening?
So it sounds to me like you, Monica, have a different like main character than you might have the main character that you might have the main character of the movie Kendo. Like
Yeah.
everybody's got a different like.
we all
no,
have a
the
different
movie wasn't
view.
about him. He was just a character in there.
It's because our Jean-Claude Defoe is introduced to these characters and they tell their stories that are
Yeah.
completely involved. Like
Right.
every
Yeah.
single character is a main character
And
of
Yeah.
each
you know
story.
what? Thematically, the first time you see the landlord, he comes into Jean-Claude Defoe's apartment and he says something like, "I don't like to get in my tenant's business, but..."
Yeah.
And I'm like, you totally do! This makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, that's when he was like, there's
Because
someone
you
in my
know-
apartment.
I think Monica solved it, but for me, I don't think the narrative was strong enough to force that.
Yeah. I had
To
to watch it
enforce it.
twice because when I first, okay, like I said, I hated this movie. when
Maybe
I
I
first
should
watched
have
it.
actually.
And I was driving in the car and I went, "The landlord." So then I had to watch it again to like prove
Your
that
laugh
theory.
is, your laugh
And,
is
like after
spiking
watching,
levels.
Sorry.
Nice,
Look at
Like
this.
it is
Yeah,
twice
I
the
often
level.
get made fun of for cackling.
I kind of want to turn down the game just for you.
It's okay. I'm gonna redo it.
Yeah, we'll
But
probably
yeah,
make
like
your
I
level
like,
should be
and
fine.
when I watched it again the second time with the landlord in mind, I'm like, yes, all of
Yeah,
this.
it
Oh, yeah?
totally makes
Okay,
sense.
that works.
So like after the first time you thought and you were like, oh, the landlord, and then you watched it again with the
I
landlord
was
already in
literally
mind.
driving to work and I shouted the landlord and I could not wait to get home to be like, it's gotta be him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
gotta be.
it's
One of those things where you're like,
I felt like a real detective. I had to like go to work and bust the criminal.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I think like you've got a really good explanation, but it's also left open to discover yourself.
It's really
It's
like,
a very
it's really
challenging movie
vague.
all around, visually, mentally. It's
Mentally.
it's
yes.
very challenging, and stab wounds in the skull turn.
Can I say
Yes.
the one
Yeah.
thing the thing I actually did really enjoy about this was the very 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 end when the main guy gets killed and he yells and you go back to the woman who hears the moans and the murders of everyone and she just like clenches her fist and is like,
But what does that mean?
because she hears it all the time and she says at the beginning, like, she's afraid to call the cops because they'll just think she's crazy. And
Yeah,
they'll
her
send to a
husband
home.
like covered her mouth. Was like,
Oh.
do you want people to think you're crazy?
Yeah.
When she goes
And
to
so
call cops.
she hears him moan and everything, and she's like, another one.
Right.
Yeah.
because
I love that.
before her husband retired, she was home all the time and heard it.
She heard it
and she was
constantly.
used to
and
it.
he'd constantly say, like, it's just assumed, he would constantly say, like, people will think you're crazy if you,
Yeah,
like,
because
Right.
you're
Yeah.
hearing the walls
He-
moan.
the mall
says
phone, and
it-
then he
But
retires.
then he retires and,
he
hears it,
Right.
and he's just like, what?
he says
Okay.
it. He does say like you want people to think you're crazy,
Mm-hmm.
and then drugs her, drills the hole, and then
And then
goes
like
up.
sticks his finger.
And then he's like the one primary like male murder victim
yeah.
because he just dies.
well, he
and
went
then
up into the
the
serial killer
woman
nest.
is crazy,
Yeah.
but really interesting. The blood drips and
Like, I was
eyeball.
freaking out the whole time. She had the little doctor's
Yeah.
stethoscope, and she was, like, following his progress along the ceiling.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
listening
that
for
was
him.
it was such a cool
And I was
scene
like,
too.
what's gonna happen?
And she hears the footsteps, yells for her husband because she heard the serial
You
killer
hear, like,
going
a
towards her, and then dead. And then she goes crazy.
And then she like looks into the hole, and then like just blood, and she was like,
and she like.
And the murderer looks in her eyes.
yeah, and she says she sees that eye that's full of hatred and psychoticness.
Oh, wow.
The other victim is.
Wow.
You want to watch this, Jessica?
I actually kind of do, because this sounds a little bit like
It's very weird.
like Section 9. Have you guys ever seen that?
Yes, I think. Wait.
Session 9?
Session 9? Is
Yes.
it the one where the guys are cleaning out the...
Yes.
That's so
I love
sweet.
that one.
Yeah.
Great.
Do it, Gordon.
Because at the end, you're like,
My favorite part of that whole movie was the fuck you.
my favorite part was
So
when the
good.
guy was... this is a different movie completely, but he's running away from the dark because he's afraid of
And
the
the
dark.
lights keep
and the lights
going
keep going
out?
because I'm afraid of the
That's
dark, and I'm like,
I know, that's like my worst fear.
Yeah.
But sorry, yeah.
Okay,
It just
Session
reminded
9
me
is
of
a
like
much
the
more
mind.
successful
We can just
narrative.
wait.
Yeah.
Wait for that when we give our recommendations.
That's
for
fine.
this.
Yes.
So, I think we wrapped up our synopsis and opinions on it. Let's
gonna
let's
rate
go
again?
around again and rate. I'll
Alright.
go first. I'm gonna stay at the same number, but I'm really happy that Monica supplied me with a goddamn explanation. So, I also feel, like I never feel like movies like this are a waste of time, even if they're super challenging and other people are like, what the hell are you watching? You hate this. It's like, okay, well, I've experienced something that you will never have the patience to experience. It's worth it as a piece of art, and I mean, we can be elitist if we want, but we're part of a secret club.
Yeah.
People who have seen this film in America, they can get through it,
Rings.
Secret handshake.
and that can actually talk about it without just judging it by my level of patience or impatience.
Yeah,
So-
we're movie Midnight Madness.
Right.
Yeah, we're in it to win
Midnight,
it, people.
Madness.
Plus, any form of art, I believe, takes patience. So if you can take the patience to just appreciate what's happening, even if you don't like it, then you're already going somewhere. So
Yeah,
it's like,
for sure, totally worth it. Still gonna say it's 5, but man, it was a thrill ride.
it was a tough one. So I'm not sure whether or not I should keep my score of 7 because
You gotta finish it first and come
Yeah,
back.
I feel like I'll have to come back. So for now, I like to keep it that simply for the art and the enjoyment I got out of being so confused. Like, I don't know what's happening, but I like it. And being ashamed of other people coming into the room and there's just so many nipples and vaginas and
That's
knives.
my roommates say. Monica's watching a movie if there's boobs on the TV. I'm like, man.
Yeah,
Exactly.
All
because-
horror movies have boobs.
It just happens. So yeah, I'll just keep mine at a
Because
7.
it's scary to be vulnerable and naked.
Yeah. There you go.
Alright.
Also, it's a sex scene movie, so.
I feel the movie represented the duality of man.
Oh, brother.
Artistic bullshit. No,
You're
this.
missing your cigarette.
I know. I need.
Where's your beret, too?
Yeah.
Your
I need,
feeling of ennui.
I need to like
Step up your
focus
game.
on some cinema snob here. Gotta bring him into this. Anyway, I'm still gonna put this as the neutral. It's gonna be the 5, just because visually, this may be the most visually stimulating movie we will review on this entire thing.
Perhaps.
Most likely, unless we get. I think you had.
Fall. So.
Yeah, the
you were
fall.
discussing one that was made by the same people, or it was the
Oh,
same
his
thing.
previous film that apparently is a better story.
Right. We may do that, and that will probably help, but that's probably on the same level
We
of
need to
visually
space out
stimulating.
our yellow film.
Yeah.
Like-
But I
Watchings.
don't think we're going to get much more stimulating than this. Oh, visually anyway, just because...
We do Lords of Salem.
You
Check
guys
that
might
out.
go insane if you just did a big block of his movies. You'd be like, ah!
Yeah, we'll start drilling holes in the ceiling.
I do like movies that make me feel like I'm crazy.
Yeah, me too.
I've got some empathy, something that's happening because I start like relating with the characters and I start thinking maybe I'm going.
So this is what it's like to be
I
crazy.
really,
It's not
I
so
really
bad.
enjoy it because so many movies are so predictable. I really enjoy
Yes.
it when I am
Amen,
lost
sister.
in a movie,
Yes.
but I don't enjoy it when even after the movie's over, I'm still lost.
Sometimes.
Sometimes I do.
It depends.
I
And
totally
that's
I
why this
understand.
movie's staying a 5 for me is because even with the explanation of it was the landlord,
I'm
which
still
there's
not
still-
even satisfied with my
there's still a
I'm a
lot of
little more
like
satisfied.
supernatural stuff that happens, like with
Yeah.
the one lady in the black dress with the hat because she's masturbating, and then there's hands all over her body, and then go into her skin, and then dead.
But I think that's his fantasy.
And then there's the walls climbing, and there might
know
be a
if it's his or
birth
her.
metaphor
That was really,
there,
really
and there's a
bizarre.
hat
Man, we
gift.
gotta do Repulsion.
It kind of makes me wonder if this is more so like someone's fantasy, like playing like with a dollhouse with
Right.
because there's the scene with the hands with the hat box and the things, and it's much smaller than when the lady picks it up. When the
There's
lady
something
picks it
with
up,
hats, isn't there?
And there's
Yes.
something with dolls.
yeah,
Because he likes...
like I think this movie is actually some insanity of someone
This movie
playing
is
with.
just a little boy and a little girl playing in a dollhouse.
Basically, yeah.
And he's like, oh, she had a period once.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
and
This
that's
is like the most disturbing game of house I've ever heard of in my entire life.
yeah. So
Ken, the serial killer.
it's staying at the neutral just because it's pretty. It's a gorgeous movie to watch. If you can't like, I watched it the second time, not even paying attention to the narrative. I wasn't reading the
It's just
subtitles.
like music and art.
I was just enjoying what I was looking at, and it's love it. And I've got like 30 new fetishes. So
Yeah, I think we got to 27.
yeah, so many.
So, Monica, any new thoughts about it?
Well, Brady's thing with the dollhouse just blew my mind.
Okay, wait. You need to think about that for a little bit.
So
Yeah.
so
But-
Monica blew Crystal's mind. I blew Monica's mind.
and now it's an Inception.
yeah.
Oh.
Must
So,
go deeper.
okay, I gotta say, like, I am gonna say, like, 5. But I gotta say, like, when I was gonna pick my 5 movie, I was expecting it just to be because it was just, like, the standard good movie. Not, like, this actually impresses me that it's my 5 because I both absolutely hate it and absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Because it
Yeah,
is
it's a perfect
gorgeous film, but I still really hate it.
Makes no sense.
You would never go through it again.
I'm gonna go through it again to test the dollhouse
Yeah.
theory.
I'm gonna watch this movie like once a month.
Like,
Just
when
to
you're...
make sure you're really crazy.
I was gonna say, when your women's on your period, you
Yes,
watch this
watch the
movie.
movie.
and then you're like, oh.
It'll make you feel
So
better.
this is what they go
Yeah.
through.
So we have recommendations.
Yes, recommendations. I guess I'll go first. Let me think. I actually didn't have one prepared.
Oh, I've got lots.
I got
Wait,
some.
recommendations for what? What
For
are
another movie
Movies
to
that
watch.
are similar, like at
Well,
this
I
point,
try to do
Section
movies that are
9.
similar.
we're
Section
That's
9.
it.
Okay,
Sorry.
Jessica's recommendation is Session 9.
Session 9.
Right,
Definitely
so-
check it out. I think it's on Netflix now, and
It
it's,
has
it's,
been for a while.
it's totally worth it. It's
It is
great.
really good.
It has
That
David
guy from
Caruso.
CSI.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fantastic.
And-
I,
and
and
There's
I,
Josh
Lucas?
Lucas. Yeah, Josh
Yeah.
Lucas.
Super
is in
weird, but lots of really
And I
cool
love
stuff.
how it-
Oh, I have a
Gordon
recommendation.
is
Okay.
one, too.
So, yeah, Session 9 is great.
it. I forgot who.
Highly recommend that. I have one. It's called Jacob's Ladder.
Mm,
With,
sounds familiar.
Yeah, right.
Is it that old movie?
Well, it's
I
relatively old. It
don't
has.
remember.
they did a remake, didn't they?
what was
later?
that person?
Or am I
in
thinking
again?
of like the
It's Tim Robbins is in it,
Okay.
and it is the reason why Silent Hill looks the way it does.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I would highly recommend checking it out. It's about a man
That's fantastic.
in the Vietnam War who gets wounded, and then when he goes back to his regular life, things start happening like demons or creatures start following him around, and everybody in his core, including Ving Rhames, is like, oh, I'm experiencing that too. That's crazy. What's going on here? And they unravel the mystery. It has a young, hot Tim Robbins, and I know that sounds weird, but it
That sounds really weird.
sounds really weird, but
I think I've
it's
seen
really
that.
good.
I think I've seen that movie. Yeah.
Okay.
Loved it.
Alright, Kendall.
So, is my recommendation supposed to be similar to this movie? Because I don't know if I have
I
anything
try to make
similar.
This is our section where we say if you liked this movie or you want to watch something very similar, you should
I
check
didn't
out
mean to do
these
it, but I guess I
movies.
sort of did.
Yeah, I mean that's what my understanding has
Yeah,
been for the
that's
last
what I
like 3
did.
episodes. So whatever.
My problem is I don't know if there's any movie even remotely similar to this that I've watched because this was so far out. So I might just, be bad at this for this one and say I can recommend another movie that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, go ahead. That's what I had to do last time.
Yeah, it was The Awakening on Netflix, and
Oh, I've been meaning to see that.
it was very good.
I love that one.
It's a woman in the 1920s.
She's
and
like trying to disprove ghosts.
she's trying to disprove
I love that
ghosts. She's a
movie.
detective, and that's already a huge thing because women in the 1920s weren't very empowered at
Yeah,
that point.
and it's got like one of the dudes
it was a
from The
huge
Wire and
seance
one of the
in it,
kids from
yeah.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
and that chick from The Conjuring.
Yeah,
And it was
So
during a time when
she-
people were hosting
she
seances.
goes to a
and-
boarding
yeah.
school,
Yeah.
and she's asked to solve this mystery disappearance of I think there's a
one of
ghost
the
that's
kids.
haunting it, and then another kid had died. So
Yeah.
she's like trying to solve all these things at once. And so she goes in with the mindset like, I'm going to disprove all these people. There's somebody who's being an asshole, kind of thing.
It's a school of little boys. And
Yeah.
It's one of the little boys.
And then all this stuff starts changing, and it was funny because the first time I watched it, I was watching it with a friend. We were baking, and we stopped at 30 minutes before the end because we were taking out a cake, and we're like, okay, we're gonna figure this movie out. Like, we pretty much got everything. Like, stuff's falling into place, and then we watched the last 30 minutes, and we're like, what the fuck? Everything just changed, and it was great. Like, it was very good. So I'd recommend it. You probably might cry if you're a baby like I am. I did, but
It was good.
I'm there.
Mousy.
I'm there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like that one.
I don't really know if I've got anything to compare this to. I mean, like, we could go with like visually stimulating movies like Cell. We could go with what was it, Suspiria, where you don't really know what's going on. But
It's the reason why this was made, I'm sure.
right, it's like, is this really happening? Is it not? I mean, I could go into really terrible
Suspiria
movies
was
like
gonna be
High
one of
Tension
mine.
and Shrooms, which you need to watch.
Seeing that Shrooms is so good.
Yeah, and there's so many things that we could go like I said, we could go visually, so it's just so beautiful that you don't pay attention to the slicing of horses, and that movie makes no sense. Or we could go into the weird plot twists that just happen out of nowhere, and so many things. Watch movies. Like artsy movies specifically.
French movies.
Because
Oh, Czech
notes,
movies. No, if you want to get like literal metaphors, you watch some Czech movies.
Right.
Open that.
Like,
All right.
my notes start off with, this movie is so artistic. They tried to use every trick of the trade they possibly could fit into this movie. And it's not overdone, but it's not underutilized. I don't know. There's so many things. Watch super artistic movies and challenge yourself and try not to go crazy.
Try.
Try not to drill holes in the
Try.
ceiling.
Yes. Monica?
Alright, yeah, I got a few recommendations. Most of my recommendations are if you like this thing but want to see something done better. Like if you like the really weird, bizarre movies. Annie Cronenberg, most specifically
Stop copies me.
Naked Lunch, or I know I keep playing with it. Naked Lunch or Videodrome are really bizarre, really insane movies. But at the end, you're like, oh,
That makes sense.
yeah.
There's some kind of closure.
If you enjoy
Yeah,
movies with people running around inside of a house, Housebound, Dude in the Walls, fantastic.
Favorite genre?
I love
Yeah.
that movie.
Netflix has a dude who lives in the walls of a house.
I don't
I
feel
wouldn't
like
doubt it.
artistically there are many movies that are prettier, except like I already said, The Fall or The Cell.
I love the fall. Those eye porn.
Those movies are, and actually
Yeah, I've
like
seen that one. It's so
I
good.
love Immortals
Eye
too.
porn,
I just
number
felt like it was a
17
bad
on my
movie.
new
I haven't seen it yet. But
Immortals,
Tarsum is great.
it holds up to the Tarsum beauty, but it does not hold up to the Tarsum story.
You'll have to start numbering them, like writing them down.
I should.
Yeah.
Immortals
on the
is not a good
walls,
story.
though.
Same with his
There you
Snow
go.
White movie.
I
That's
didn't
gonna
see
be
it.
Not a
difficult, 'cause I'm
good
gonna have to find
story,
someone
but
else's period
it
book,
was
'cause,
still really
well,
bizarre
I
and
can't.
pretty and fun.
I'm sure you'll manage.
I might.
Yeah, so there's mine.
Okay.
And then am I doing the next?
I don't know. Do you guys want to have a recommendation, or you want us to just keep picking them?
I do love Section
Session
Session 9.
9.
Sorry, I keep saying
Um,
Section 9. I love it.
I wanted to do
Me
a
too.
really
It's
this
great.
terrible like slasher murder movie, and I was going to suggest Stitches at some point in
I'm
time. Just because I really
That one
want to
with
watch
the
that
clown?
movie. Yes, I want to just.
I haven't seen it, but I saw it on Netflix. Like
I want to watch it, and I want to have an excuse to watch it because apparently I'm putting these movies higher on my priority list of things to watch. So I'm not saying that we should, but I'm saying that we should add that to the list of possibilities at some point in time, and I'll let everyone decide.
There's a movie, and I cannot remember the name of
There's
it,
no such thing.
where there's a Interpol agent hunting down this guy who kills women by feeding them.
Oh, it's
You
called
know,
Feed.
It's called
Feed. Thank you.
I've seen that movie.
Can
Is
we
it-
watch Teeth?
I've already seen
Teen.
Teen.
Oh
I've
my
never
god!
seen it,
I
but I've
can't.
heard.
Vagina dentata.
I know that's the only thing that comes to my mind every time, and I'm sure if you mention it to Tim, he'll scream that at you.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, no. Oh god, I'm trying to think.
So
of
you want us to yell at the microphone about Feed?
I love Feed.
Feed
Session
was-
9. See, I'm not even a scary movie person, but I like
Well, you see,
Shrooms is good.
My sister was actually looking for a book. I think Feed was actually based on a book, and she found a different book called Feed that has something to do with the internet and murdering, and she found a series that she really liked based on the random connection. I don't know.
Interesting, the guy who plays the serial killer that feeds people to death in that one
Uh-huh.
is on Hawaii Five-O as the main character.
Oh,
Who plays the
really?
Steve McQueen character, yeah.
I was gonna do one. That's
Seriously.
not on this list.
So,
I know.
do we just have like a running list? There's like 54 movies
Yes.
on it.
Yeah, a million of them.
What just
Okay, if nobody feels strong, it's like
That was great.
Well, I had
Oh,
one, but
what is the one
if
that you-
somebody wanted to
So
do.
I also have another. I don't know if we
No,
want to
you
do.
did one.
Okay, no, you know what? I'll email you about a Halloween idea that I have.
There you
right
go.
now.
Okay,
Okay.
Okay.
Shocktober. We'll do it then.
Yes.
Monster Squad.
We've got to do like 12 movies in October.
So what's
Yes.
what's
Well,
our
what's the one you were
final
gonna do?
decision?
Okay, so for something completely different,
What
but
are you-
still in the.
What are you gonna
horror
ruin our
genre.
lives with this week, Monica?
No, I like this one.
You
And I
liked
watched
plus one.
it.
You
I
like a lot
watched
of
it again.
them.
I actually watched it again to make sure I still liked it, and I
Okay.
still liked it.
All right.
Life After Beth. It's on Amazon Prime.
Life After Beth.
It's fantastic.
I'm on board.
It's
Yeah,
Give
it's
us
on my
not.
watch
full
list.
synopsis, or can we not?
It is a movie about a girl who dies and comes back.
And her name's Beth.
Her name is Beth.
Yeah, no, that's the
this
one
is
where she
with
tries
Aubrey
to.
Plaza.
That's the one where she
Yes.
tries to eat him.
All right.
I love it. Yes.
Yes.
No, it's
This is gonna
yes.
be
We're
very
gonna.
sweet.
I'm on
Yes,
board
it
for this
is.
movie.
Just
I'll
because, like,
watch
we're
it.
gonna watch this, Kenda.
Yeah, we're gonna watch
Okay.
this kind of.
It's
It's gonna
good.
be great.
I like it.
After
Okay.
we finish this other one.
Yeah.
Next one.
Yes.
All right,
All right.
everyone. Well, we had a lively discussion this time.
Yes.
Any
My-
final thoughts before we go?
I want to say thank you to everyone that has been listening and giving us
Yeah.
feedback. We are really rough because we're kind of trying to find our flow, and the feedback
But we
really
are
does
listening
help
to
us.
you guys too.
Right, hence why we mixed it up, kind of combined both of the last two episodes to get a good feeling of how things go.
Shout out to my horror movie homie at work, Katie, and Yitai for listening to this.
You guys
Yeah,
get
thanks,
shout
guys.
outs.
Shout outs.
Fancy.
Everybody from Speaking Cinema as well. Thanks, guys.
Oh yeah, we want to do that pod crawl with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna get together, guys. Don't worry.
Sweet.
I would actually like to hear some feedback from listeners saying, like, suggestions for movies that they want us to watch and talk about.
Oh yeah, that would be cool. That would be really cool.
That might help us kind of get some good ideas.
Audience recommendations.
specifically.
So I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a huge fan of like the popular scary movies. What I love is like the psychological stuff that implants
We
and
love
lets it
those too.
grow.
Yeah, we're perfectly okay with doing
I love
things like
those.
that. I think slasher flicks would be perfectly
I think
fine.
Babadook was a good one.
Slasher flicks are fine if you want to like just
Yeah.
see like some
I
really
think
dumb
they're all good.
teenagers.
I like them
get
all.
killed.
I like the macabre genre.
Yeah.
Right. And I think we could have a lot of fun getting like really snobby with some of these random movies.
We'll
that
get
are
a lot
just-
of berets.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, one time
Oh,
we should
I
have
can wear
like
big
wine
sunglasses and a
berets
scarf.
and like
Yeah.
those the long skinny
Oh yeah, the
cigarettes.
cigarette
douchebag
holders.
holders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll bring the wine,
All right.
and then we'll just have cigarette holders. and we
Okay,
can wear
but
beret.
That would have
if
been good
everyone's
for the
wearing berets and having long cigarette holders, I'm actually going to get myself one of the
Get a
car
pipe.
dealer hats. I'm going to have my cigarette extension, and I am going to do something a little different, and I might be slightly drunk, and
Yes.
Hunter S. Thompson this bitch up.
Yes.
All right.
So yeah, feel free to leave us some comments about any suggestions you have
be
because
great.
any feedback is going to help
Like,
us.
comment, and subscribe.
There you go. And worst comes worst, if you just want to send us some hate mail, it might be funny. So do
Oh,
that too.
no.
Hate
Hate mail, get to me.
Oh.
I need to set up an account for hate mail.
Oh, yeah.
And I will totally read those. And I'll
Yes.
do
You
that.
can read them
It's
out
what-
loud.
Yeah.
I'm
over this.
convinced hate mail's what you live for, right?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, it's going to be
Awesome.
exciting.
it's gonna be sweet.
All right.
So, anything else? Everybody good?
I have a feeling like it's
That's
just gonna be
good.
this big long letter of hate, and Brady's just gonna be like, "Your mom, I'm Brady."
No. And my friend Eric is going to love me for this because I'm going to get in like these letters and people are going to yell at me and I'm gonna read them out in possibly a separate section, and I'll be very, very good at
Do a
reading
different
them.
accent for every letter.
And then my response to the majority of them is going to be neat.
Table flip.
Yep.
I love it.
All right,
right.
guys. Well, we wrapped up another episode, and yeah, we'll see
So
you
wait,
next
which one
time.
are we watching next time?
Life After Beth.
Okay, done.
Everybody
All
watch
right.
that. Woo.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Okay,
Bye.
Bye.